violent pro-Hamas riot in Calgary this summer. The minor who assaulted Jake Birrell and his cousin Samantha Hamilton has been sentenced. But does the punishment fit the crime? Not exactly. The minor was sentenced to 12 months of probation. Jake and Samantha join me now from Calgary. Welcome back to the program, you guys. While we're talking, we're going to show the video of that protest that became a riot last July. Jake, you were hit repeatedly. Samantha, you were knocked to the ground and punched. Remind our viewers what happened that fateful day in July while we show some video footage.
We were going down there so that we can express what we believed was freedom of speech. And we were assaulted by a group of pro-Palestinian protesters who had crossed the street, and some of which were originally involved in violence against another victim, Jeff Willerton.
So you were there as peaceful counter-demonstrators. They came across the street and attacked you. Now, 4 people were charged, and the one who pled guilty and was sentenced yesterday, he was a minor, so we can't name him. But let me just tell a little bit about him, and then I want to ask you a very particular question, Samantha, because he hit you, and you were knocked to the ground by this thug. Now, he was born in what he calls Palestine, and here's the agreed-to statement of facts that was read into court yesterday. Here's why he came to Canada. I just got to read this to you. He witnessed significant conflict in his birthplace and remembers, for instance, seeing guns every day. His family moved to Canada with the goal of living in peace. So this guy who claims he came to Canada for peace went to a pro-terrorist rally and beat you up. Do you think he felt remorse, Samantha?
I don't. I do know he pleaded guilty, but he didn't, when asked if he had anything to say, didn't say anything. And I saw him smirking during the trial. Actually, a few people did. And the sheriff even had to go stand by him so he can kind of gain his composure again.
So when your victim impact statement was being read into court, he started sort of, not giggling out loud, but sort of, you know, showing his amusement with it. Did you see that as well, Jake?
Yeah, a lot of the times when I was looking, he was turning to his friend who was there, and he was smirking at him, and then the sheriff had to go over and stand by him because he was, frankly, thought that Samantha was being disrespected.
I want to read one more. I want to read one more statement from the agreed statement of facts, and I think this is inappropriate. This is the agreed statement of facts that the prosecutor and defense agreed to, basically making a moral equivalence between the Jews and the Muslim extremists who beat them up. Here, let me quote. Both groups on the west side of the street continued to chant loudly. A member of the counter-protest group repeatedly blew a loud handheld air horn towards the protesters as they walked, as if chanting loudly was equivalent to being beaten up. Jake, I want to ask you, you were the guy wearing the Israel flag. It was around your neck like a noose. You were beaten as well. Do you feel like the prosecutor truly grasped the nature of the incident? This young offender was charged with assault, no jail time whatsoever. There was no hate crime charge. I understand in court yesterday there was a weapons offense mentioned. Do you feel like this case was treated seriously as the political Islam it was, or was this treated like just, you know, some street urchin who pushed someone?
Well, it's hard to explain because the prosecution can only do so much for a youth offender, but the fact that they left the side of the hate crime out was really disturbing. Just the fact that we were Jewish upset this guy so much, and you wonder what a person with a weapons charge could do in the future with that same hate, especially considering the circumstances of his offense were so little.
We're out of time, Samantha and Jake. I want to talk to you again in the future. I'm pleased you're on the show. I'm glad this guy has some sentence. I'm furious that his name remains anonymous because he's a young offender, that he won't do a day in jail, and that he was smirking unapologetically as your impact statement was read out in court. And I'll just say to the viewers before we go, the other 3 thugs who were charged with offenses will be in court, Samantha, on February 9th in Calgary. Is that right?
Yes.
You know, we'll spread the word. Maybe if we have more law-abiding Calgarians in the courthouse, the judge will realize how offensive these attacks on you were and not give them a slap on the wrist. Stay strong, you guys. You're heroes.
Thank you.